Let's bow our heads. Our Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we're mindful of your omnipotent presence and the mercy that you show upon all of us and the blessings that you have bestowed upon us all by having the opportunity to be here today and to participate in in the democracy that you have allowed us to have here in this country. Dear Father, we ask your blessing and wisdom and discernment on every member of this court, and that only good and honest decisions will result from their efforts. We ask special thanks, dear Father, for the sacrifice that each of these people make from their personal lives for all of our benefit. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Pike County Fiscal Court is called to order. Madam Clerk, have a roll call.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Murphy.
Here.
Mr. Robinson.
Here.
Mr. Dotson.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
We have a quorum. We now have Pledge of Allegiance, led by Magistrate Murphy, a veteran.
For me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are very blessed that we had the Purdue Farmer case so that this court can take a look in about 6 months at the budget, and that we will be in good shape for any proposed or projected shortfall we might have in the 2014 and 15 budget. So I just wanted to give you all that information. Is the treasurer available so we can?
Judge, do we need her to have the second reading? I think generally the
Has she
assistant county
provided
attorney.
you, Mr. County Attorney, with what needs to be?
Judge, I have a copy of the budget in my packet, and I think each of the
Each
magistrates do,
of it.
and we don't, as a matter of law, need her here. We need her here only if there's some question about it.
That's correct.
Right.
So you can go ahead and read it, and then if we got any questions, we'll take it up with her when she gets here.
Judge, I'm going to read, this is a second reading of the budget of the Pike County Fiscal Court fiscal year, and you have recommended that be changed to 2013-2014 rather than 2014-2015, I believe. Is that correct?
This is a proposed budget for the coming
13
year.
and 14.
All right, 14 and 15. But Judge, Magistrate Anderson has suggested that I read this not in summary form, but in detail. But I think he just changed his mind, because I think that happened one time in this court, and it took 4 hours to read this by a fella, and I won't mention his name. But anyway, Judge, in summary form, second reading of the budget of the Pike County Fiscal Court fiscal year 2014-2015 shows a total budget appropriation of grand total of all funds $35,362,706. Judge, the expenditure portion of the budget, and you'll have to bear with me as I get to the end of that. And Rhonda, you may help me here if you can give me the page number. 3, I just gave the grand total of all funds, the appropriations, the estimated receipts are listed, Judge, on as an attachment on pages, several pages of receipts, and I'm looking for the. I've given Madam Treasurer the grand total of all funds on the appropriations. I'm looking for the expenditure part of this budget now. If you can help me. I'm sorry?
Looking for the expenditures or receipts?
Receipts, I've just, the appropriations, I've just given the total on page 3.
Page 3, then on the page 6.
Page, page 6.
Page 3 of the revenues, but it's the 6th page back.
All right, thank you. The Pike County Fiscal Court estimated receipts in summary form fiscal year 2014, 2015 shows a total receipts of $35,362,706, which exactly balances the appropriation and complies with Kentucky law.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the budget.
Second.
We have a motion, Magistrate Hart, have a second. Second, Magistrate Anderson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson, you want to vote yes on the budget?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Yes. Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Under that section of the statute, after the adoption by July 1, under 67.077, this is to be published immediately after adoption, and the copy forwarded adopted budget to the state within 15 days from the adoption by the fiscal court. So they have 15 days to submit. I imagine the budget office will go ahead and submit as soon as they can. Since that was the purpose of the meeting today, and it being a special meeting, we will go on to the rest of the agenda. And we have Mr. County Attorney, the County Road Superintendent, Mr. Hatcher, is not available today. He's off today. So we would, you have the authorization to execute 2 deeds from Walters Land Company. I think the other day you even went down and looked with the road commissioner at this situation.
That's correct, Judge. What this is about, this court authorized the changing of Venters Lane, that's down near the mouth of Harmon's Branch, very dangerous road. We're relocating that behind the Walters business premises. That's been done by the Walters Land Corporation, the road and the bridge at their expense. It's not cost the county anything. It will correct when completed and opened. It's not opened yet, but it will correct that very dangerous situation of coming out on the old Venters Lane onto the 4-lane US 23 in the area of a curve. So Commissioner Hatcher and I went down and looked at this. It's got the base coat of asphalt down. The bridge is a very nice bridge that they were kind enough to build, and that's going to go in the county system when it is completed. The proper paperwork will be done, but what this is about, there are 2 very small areas of property owned by the Walters Land Inc., number 3, and they have executed 2 deeds and asked us to take possession of that property and ownership of this property by virtue of the deeds. They're 2 very small triangular areas of real property, Judge, on either end of that new bridge. The land company has no use for them. The county road will go over them, so they would like to convey that to Pike County. It's not a legal maxim, but there is a maximum: never look a gift horse in the mouth, Judge. So I recommend that the court authorize you to execute the deeds.
Magistrate Anderson is aware of this. In his district, Bobby Branham set up a meeting more than a year ago with the Walterses and the county attorney's office in regard to relocating this road. And we agreed to take this before the court at the proper time to execute the deeds. Magistrate Anderson.
Judge, I'd just like to echo what you all said, and I think it's going to be a welcome bridge for the people that live in that community. It's going to be a lot safer, and we just, I want to thank everybody. There's a lot of people played a part in getting this done, and like John Duke said, once it is complete, we have agreed to take over the maintenance of the bridge. Do we need a motion to?
Motion to authorize the execution of the deeds.
Okay, I'll make that motion to authorize the execution of the deed.
Second.
Have a second by Magistrate Harris. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Be about like our lunch.
Next on the agenda today is the adoption of a resolution authorizing the application and execution of all documents for a Homeland Security grant. The purpose for that grant, and I've discussed it with Doug Tackett, the purpose of that is we have a top rescue squad. What it's called, this one is ATV Rescue, and it has a name for it, and it provides search and rescue services for lost and missing and overdue persons in Pike County. Also, can be used when requested in other counties. Doug, if you would tell us, I think Mr. Forsythe is the head of that. You can give us a little bit of basic information, and what we're asking that you authorize me as county judge-elect to sign the application for the grant.
That's correct. It's East Kentucky Trackers, and they do not only search and rescue for missing, lost, and overdue people, but also do high-angle rescue, low-angle rescue, and rough terrain rescue. They're based out of here. Right now, they're using temporary as a place to store their records at Kenny Forsythe's place. There are Homeland Security grants for a command post trailer. And we'll make sure they've got a place to park that along with ours, so if they do get the grant.
Any question by any of the magistrates?
So we're applying for a grant for another organization?
Actually, they have to apply for the grant, but it has to come through the court. The court won't be responsible for it. It would be pass-through funds.
Okay. And where's this group from? I mean,
They're from
I
here
don't
they're
know
here in
anything
Pike.
about them.
Here in Pikeville. They've been.
Where would that, where, I'm like Mr. Magistrate Harris. Tell us what this will be. Will it be a mobile trailer?
It'll be a
set up?
mobile command post trailer that
Command post trailer?
Yes,
Would that be kept at your place
yes,
until until they was called out?
until it was needed, yes. And they'll keep their equipment stored in the trailer as long as their incident commands
Is
equipment.
this the type trailer that you took to Morgan County to West Liberty when they had the,
Yeah, similar to it.
similar to it? When they had the tornado?
Yeah. Are these volunteers?
Yes, they're all volunteers.
Okay, just from
They're
around the county?
Around the county. Some of them are firefighters, and some of them are people that are interested in search and rescue, and they're from various fire departments as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Doug, let me ask you a question too. During a year's period, about how many requests do you get? I know because you called me on several of them. When last time you called, you was on Turkey Creek, I believe, trying to find somebody with Alzheimer's who had walked away from home.
Yeah.
About how many do you get a call a year on those?
I would say on an average of missing people, we get about 10 calls a year.
About 10 a year?
Yeah.
Which would mean if we had a major disaster and we was using our 2 command posts, which we provided a command post at the mouth of Coon Creek the other time,
Right.
and then for a period of time, we had one
At Harles's Creek.
at Regina, if you remember.
Yeah, we had both of
So
ours
this
out.
gives us, one, if we have somebody that's in another section of the county not hit by a major disaster, that would be available to be set up in regard to a missing person.
That's correct.
Okay. Magistrate Harris, I better understand it now as you requested.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we adopt a resolution.
Have a motion by Magistrate Harris to adopt the resolution, second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. We have next a proposed ordinance to accept a road in the county road system. The county attorney's office is aware of this, the road department is aware of this, and some of the magistrates or a magistrate is aware of this. So, Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, this is a road in District Number 5, the KBC Mine Road. It's 0.7 of a mile long. I have reviewed the paperwork requesting that this be taken into the county road system. It is in proper form. The petition has been executed by the three and the only three property owners along this road. The source of title for each of those property owners has been given. I have, Judge, an ordinance notice of intended passage of the Pike County Fiscal Court, which, with your permission, I'll read in summary form. An ordinance of the Pike County Fiscal Court adopting certain roads into the county road system. That's the KBC Mine Road, 7/10 of a mile. That has to be advertised, Judge, but it is a first reading only.
That's the first reading, and it is the KBC Mine Road. I think, Mr. Carlton, you're familiar with that in your meetings with in regard to other situations that the county may have on property controlled by the coal company.
Judge, I'd like to comment on that. If I need to, I think we made a motion to put it in a few months ago, but if it's necessary, I'll make a motion and we do that. This is to put some people back to work. You know, this coal company is applying for some permits to open underground mines there on in Phelps, and this, they said, would help them get their permit a lot quicker and a lot faster if it was on a county road. So, you know, this road is accessed. Me and Charles has been over to some mine property back there that will be very, very much helpful to the community there for ATV trails or horse trails or whatever we can get the coal company to agree later on to let us use. But it's a valuable piece of property, and we only have one resident live there, but they've got two other companies that have property on that road, and they want to get it into a county road to where they could get their permitting, and maybe we can get access to their property. And it's something that Charles and John has worked on for several months, trying to get a good relationship with the company. I think it's a good way to start, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Magistrate Dodson, and I agree with everything you said. I need to add, Judge, to my comments the fact that a viewer's report executed by Randy Casey, who is road foreman over in District 5, and Frank Hatcher, our county road commissioner, accompanied the petition, and I want to submit that to you at this time.
Madam Clerk, would you make this a part of the record of today's court meeting?
There's the ordinance.
Mr. County Attorney, this requires a motion and a second.
No, this is first reading,
First reading. Magistrate Dodson, you'd have to wait till the next meeting to make your motion to approve. This is first reading.
Judge, I thought I made one about 2 or 3 months ago, but if that's necessary, that's what we'll do. I made a motion to make this a county road prior to them going out, and I thought the nature of our ordinance was we turn it into the court, then the road commissioner goes out and examines it and makes his report back to the court, and then it's probably a road. But if not, it's no big deal. We can do it
County
later
Attorney.
on.
I do recall you did that, Magistrate Dodson, and I appreciate the urgency being involved with this. I certainly do, but unfortunately, in order to comply with law, we have to have all this paperwork that I just mentioned, and then it has to be advertised, and then we can pass it on the second reading.
That's fine.
Next, we have on the agenda, discuss the removal of the left fork of Old House Branch from the county road system. Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, we just talked about putting one in. Now we're going to talk about taking one out. I guess.
Got to balance it out.
I guess. But in any event, this is a road, and I believe this, as a matter of fact, I know it's over in District 5 also. It's on the left fork of Old House Branch. It's County Road number 8805. We have a petition executed by Carolyn Bowling, who lives at 320 left fork of the Old House Branch, Ransom, Kentucky, 41558, requesting that this road be taken out of the county road system. Accompanying that petition, Judge, is a viewer's report dated June 19th, 2014, identifying the same road, County Road number 8805, and the viewer is H. Frank Hatcher, who has recommended that the road be taken out of the county system. His comment that there are no other homes located along this road. Mrs. Bowling is the sole resident of that. I think she wants it taken out. It's a short road, Judge, so she can have some security there by way of fencing and so forth. So that's the petition, Judge, and I believe what we have to do now is have a public hearing according to law and see if anyone objects to that. This has to be advertised.
Madam Clerk, we've set a public hearing.
There was no ordinance in this packet, and that will be done after the public hearing.
Set a public hearing, and then Jeannie, you'll have to see that goes after that's done. It goes back on the agenda for action by the court. Mr. Stacy, do you have any bids?
Oh, yeah.
Judge, I've got the bid results for the June material bids. We had 7 bids. The first bid was bid number 23 for bituminous hot mix. Received 1 bid from Mountain Enterprise. It's recommended to award the bid to the above listed vendor. There's a price sheet attached to the back that shows the increase in the prices. Bid number 24, hardware items and small tools, received 9 bids. Elkhorn City True Value, J.D. Westcott and Son, Justice Supply Company, Lowe's of Pikeville, MGC Supply, Riverside Supply, Thompson's Hardware, Tri-County Hardware, and Right Way Rental and Supply. And it's recommended we award the bid to all the above listed vendors. Bid number 25 is lubricants. Received 3 bids: Apollo Oil, Childers Oil Company, and Wayne Supply Company. It is recommended we award the bid to all the above listed vendors. Bid number 26 is for off-road diesel. Received 1 bid from Jones Oil Company. It is recommended we award the bid to the above listed vendor. Bid number 27 is for office supplies. Received 5 bids: Ashland Office, CNR Office Supply, East Kentucky Chemical and Supply, Office Depot, and Stationers. And it's recommended we award the bid to all the above listed vendors. Bid number 28 is for uniforms. Received 6 bids: Aramark Uniform Services, Bluegrass Uniforms, Coin Textile Service, Riverside Supply, Seagold's Uniforms, and Wright's Design. And it's recommended we award the bid to all the above listed vendors. And bid number 29 is for concrete. Received 2 bids from the Wells Group and Right Way Ready Mix. And it is recommended we award the bid to all the above listed vendors. Second, I have the flood work bids. It's 3 separate bids. The first bid is bid number 30, Gabion Wire Baskets in Place. Received 10 bids. Black Star Energy, total bid price per cubic yard, $160. Chris Construction, $181.50. Halls Construction, $126 even. Hess Contracting, $177. Jackie D. Smith Enterprise, $175. Jared Smith Construction, $182.50. Pikeville Paving and Construction, $175. Prater Construction, $175. Williamson Excavation, $260, and York Smith Construction, $180. It's recommended to award the bid to the lowest bidder, which is Halls Construction, having the lowest evaluated bid price of $126 per cubic yard. That's $1 a cubic yard higher than last year. and also any other bidders that can match the lowest price to be an approved backup bidder. Bid number 31 is for drill steel retainer in place. Received 2 bids. Jackie D. Smith Enterprise, $36 per foot, and King Creek Drilling Incorporated, $29.90 per foot. It is recommended to award the bid to the lowest bidder, which is King Creek Drilling, having the lowest evaluated bid price of $29.90 per foot. That's about 10 cents a foot cheaper than last year's bid. And also, any other bidder that can match the lowest bid price be an approved backup bidder. And the last bid is bid number 32 for grouted riprap in place. Received 9 bids. Chris Construction, $65 per cubic yard. Halls Construction, $60. Hess Contracting, $150. Jackie D. Smith Enterprise, $200. Jared Smith Construction, $60. Pikewell Paving and Construction, $145. Prater Construction, $200. Williamson Excavation, $455. And York Smith Construction, $59.49. It is recommended to award the bid to the lowest bidder, which was York Smith Construction, having the lowest evaluated bid price of $59.49 per cubic yard, and that's about $5 a cubic yard higher than last year's bid. And also any other bidders who can match the lowest evaluated bid price be an approved backup bidder.
Any question of the purchasing agent? If not, have a motion. Motion by Magistrate Anderson, have a second. Magistrate Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Magistrate Roadwork, Magistrate Anderson, have a motion, approve, have a second. Have a second. Magistrate Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Magistrate comments, Magistrate Anderson.
Judge, I was gonna ask Frankie, if we got anything back on those roads on the blacktop? I'm not even sure who, is Jenny or you on the flex money? Have we heard anything? Got any MOAs back?
No, I haven't. I'll imagine that Frank and Colleen will have to update us in regard to what's been submitted. We've got nothing, have we, Jeannie, from their office in Frankfurt?
And I've got 4 or 5 bridges we'd submitted several months ago. Did we get anything back on those? Hadn't got anything back? Okay. Still on hold, okay. Only other thing, Judge.
Bobby, if you're going to Frankfurt tomorrow, would you check on that over to the Commissioner's office?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Then I think we got some more due, July 1? Got some more roads that we can apply
so
for.
If you would, go by the Commissioner's office and see if we can, what's going on with that.
The last thing, Judge, I just want to comment on, I had a really good meal Saturday, and it was cooked by 2 distinguished gentlemen, and I really appreciated it. That's all I have.
Magistrate Johnson.
I don't have anything, Judge.
Magistrates.
Yeah, I just see if you're still trying to get a meeting with the Transportation Secretary for the upper Pompey Road over.
What do we know, Jeannie, about a meeting set up at the, you say hopefully the 23rd?
Okay, I have another meeting set up July the 23rd. Maybe we can incorporate it then. I'll check on that.
All right, sounds good.
Another subject, so maybe we can incorporate it, because it's hard getting all those people together.
Okay,
I'll let you know, though, Leo, if we can do it, if they have time.
appreciate it.
Okay. Excuse me.
Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, I just would like to say we've went through a round of flooding in different parts of the county in District 5. We, the latest one was over at Open Fort, and Bear Fork there, we had a flash flood last week and destroyed a lot of our road and our pipes and things. And over on Elk Creek and stopover area, Camp Creek had a lot of flooding over in there. And people were without electricity and water I think for about a week over for water. And just want to let the people know, we're doing the best we can. These flash floods, they just come on all at once, and I want to say that our road crew and our maintenance crew and people are keeping things going. They work in the late hours of the night, and our weeds are getting a little bit behind because we've had to concentrate on all the flooding we've had. But we're doing the best we can do, and hopefully we get caught up on it a little bit. But we had a four-wheeler meeting this past week up at Elkhorn, and things are still moving good on HIT. We've got the committee still working strong, and we're getting things done, and we're going to have another one here this next month, and hopefully we can get the trail started. I know it's not going to be no slow process. We're looking at some time down the road, but we're still working on it. We're not going to give up on it until we get something going. But another thing is the signage for the Frank Phillips Cemetery. I don't know, Frank's not here today, but Paul, they called me a few weeks and said they had the brown sign for the historical marking for the Frank Phillips Cemetery. And I was just wondering if we could get Tony Tackett or somebody to release it. I think it's over in the tourism, and erect it up at the
Is that Frank
gravesite.
Phillips Cemetery?
The Frank Phillips Cemetery up at
That will
Phillips
be
Ranch.
erected by state employees over on the state right-of-way.
Well, Judge, it wouldn't last very long on the state right-of-way, I don't think, over there, because we've had a few of them put up down at the mouth of the holler, and some way or other they get torn down, and if they want to put it down there, then that's fine. But I just think it would be more safely if it was erected up on the cemetery where we have the seats and the flagpole, and Paul, y'all put steps and everything. But it's up to you and the state.
Historical markers has to be placed where the general public, Mr. County Attorney.
Judge, having had some considerable experience with the state and these historical markers, and we're talking about Hillman, those regular historical, yes, right,
Correct.
exactly, and not signs that we would make and put up. Unfortunately, they do require that they go on along the state right-of-ways. We had that same issue up at Liberty. It was a time finding a good place. Finally did find a spot. But you are right. There is a real problem with theft of those things. The metal is worth something in them. And I would hope maybe they could find a spot over there where it would be not only safe to the traveling public and where people could pull off and read that, but also where at least be around someplace where somebody could kind of notice if any shenanigans are going on. But they have to go where the
Check with
state
Mrs.
says.
Holbrook and see when that will be installed over there, and then set a opening up and coordinate it through Hillman.
Judge,
And they have a committee over there. and,
Judge,
we'll get over there and get that.
Hillman or Master Dotson, I don't know if you've done any surveying along the state route near that area where you turn to go up there or not. If you need to take maybe a look at that. Actually, I think we suggested to the state where the Liberty marker finally would be placed, and they were agreeable to that, if I'm not mistaken, Judge. So they'll take suggestions, and I will check with them, Master Dotson, and see if maybe they would, in light of the area, and I know the problems over there at the mouth of that holler, but maybe they would consent in light of special circumstances to make some accommodation for us to put that sign up there.
Mr. County Attorney, would one of the brown signs be eligible to put over where Master Johnson talked about, possibly?
Well,
as Holbrook could tell us.
the state historical marker, they're gonna have to consent where it goes.
I
the
know,
state.
they have
But
consent
we
on
can-
that one. What about the
We can
ground
put,
sign?
we can make
location.
signs ourselves, Judge, if that's what you're talking about, and put it up there where it is, where Master Dawson's talking about. But I'm gonna see what I can do with the state, Master Dawson.
John, I just seen the one out in front of the courthouse, and that's not on the state road, so I just figured, if we can protect it, and, we've been 100 and some years getting it, and the state has no interest on putting it up. I think Daniel made, 40 signs, Daniel? Been down there how long? Down in the basement. And they were supposed to be installed by the state, but I think the state told Betty Tackett
We
that
do not have the signs at the State Highway Transportation Garage.
the brown signs is what I'm talking about.
Brown signs.
And Betty Howard had Daniel make up, how long? About 3 months ago.
Now, that's something else. If it's a state historical marker, we're talking about two different things, Master Dawson.
Right, but these brown signs were supposed to be installed by the state, I guess, on the state highway. And they told her that they didn't do the installing of the brown signs on the state highway, is what she told me. But we've got one over here in the city limits, talking about the Hatfield and the McCoy.
Okay.
Feud sites.
I tell you what, let me get to the bottom of it and report back to the next court meeting,
Well,
okay? We'll get you some signs up over there.
I was supposed to pick them up and try to get them put up ourselves, but when we get out on state highway putting up signs, then we might run into some problems.
It
We
makes
got
us
some to
liable
go.
if what the state says, that they have to control where the sign goes, so it don't bother the view of vehicular traffic and cause an accident. And that's the purpose of them.
Well, it'd be great if we
putting
could get them
signs
put up. I think,
Jeannie, if you will.
they're
check
laying down there, and I was supposed to pick them up today, but Daniel, I'll just put them on hold for another
the
month or
brown
two.
sign, should be no
Maybe
problem.
get 'em up
at
later
all of-
It would be a tremendous help, because we have so many
Yeah,
people that
tremendous
come and
help.
want to see these feud sites, and the signage is just not there to direct them to the
Direct
right
them up
places
where
to
to
go.
go to the cemetery.
And
That's
particularly during the
certainly-
Hatfield-McCoy feud the marathon, and they had, runners from 44 states, over 1,000 people, and a lot of them wanted to go around in their extra time and see these feud sites. And it makes it real difficult for them to travel from site to site if they don't have these directional signs to guide them. Because if you're not from here, we can say, hey, go to Blackberry and take a left and, go down to
Directional
McCarr. We
signs.
know what we're talking about, but people that are not from here, those signs are a real help.
I concur with Magistrate Dodson and Magistrate Harris that the directional signs should be controlled by the county and put on the county right away. Magistrate Dodson.
But Judge, these signs are not all on county roads. A lot of them, it goes on 119 a lot of them's over in Magistrate Harris's district. But I have had so many complaints why we don't promote tourism on this end to get them over there to where they can see what really happened. And we've got the cabin sitting over there that, we talked about a year ago about getting some electricity and getting some sewage, where we could maybe get that turned into an area where people could be there every day to give out literature or promote tours. And talking to Paul there's a solution for that. He said we could put a portable tank there that we could pump maybe every 5 or 6 months, and build a couple bathrooms on the outside of that cabin to where people could get our electricity hooked up and people could use it. And we spent probably close to $500,000 over there getting that cabin built, and it's just sitting there, and people just drive by and take a picture of it. And if we're going to promote tourism, Tony Tackett and the tourism people over here need to try to get in line and help us push the county tourism. And we've got it over there, and it's starting to happen that people are driving through, but like Chris said, they don't know where they're going. And we've got these aerial maps that we could give people, and we've got the directional signs that would lead them and show them where to go. But we've got to get some kind of leadership through our Don't we have a county, tourism board joint with the city now?
We have a county.
And you know, everybody that we get in over there is gonna come over here and spend money too.
We have a
see.
county tourism board. And Mr. Scott, of course,
He's-
is on that board and lives over there. And a promoter of the Hatfield-McCoy, trail.
But I guess that's enough for the signs. You know, we know where they're at, and we just need to get them put up. And you know, we got a lot of things going on here this summer, and had a lot of things that went on this past weekend over there on the Hatfield-McCoy sites. But we'll just bring it up next court meeting. And the Gabriel cleanup in front of I guess Bobby's got a report on that where they had notified the people to clean up the dilapidated houses.
I did. I went and sent letters out to the owners of the property, and one was returned back. We sent them certified mail. We got one back, but I got a response from the other. And the fellow tells me that he will come in and meet with me one day this week, and we will make a decision on what we're going to do about cleaning that up for him.
Thank you, Bob. And Judge, we have a problem over at Elk Creek. You know, John, you and the judge have been over there and had road openings and dedications on that new bypass going into the people up in Elk Creek. They put a bypass in last week, and it flooded out before they ever got the road fixed. And what it is, Judge, they've got the bypass going right into a rock cliff, and there's no way for the water. And I know that we're not spending money on that project, but we're going to have to take care of it once it's completed. And if we don't get Frank or somebody over there to get with the engineers and get that thing changed over, we're right in the same shape that we've always been in.
Jeannie, will you tell Frank tomorrow when he returns, or Wednesday, to give Magistrate Dotson a call and to get an appointment with him and go to Elk Creek and see it? And he can take a county engineer with him if he thinks he needs to, or the county attorney's office will be available to advise.
John, do you think we would have any control over the way that is constructed? I know we didn't put any money in on it. Virginia is more or less running the show, but we're gonna have to still take care of the problem.
They're paying for it, and they've done the design and the engineering work along with the railroad. But as you know, Magistrate Dawson, they've been very receptive to our input, and I think if we get, and we can meet and explain the situation, hopefully we can have some input.
Well, John, I talked to them myself, and, you know, they told us they was gonna leave that tunnel open to where if the railroad was blocked, they could go under it. Mm-hmm. Now they say they've got to put a gate up, and, you know, the design is totally different to what they first explained to us how it was gonna be. But we spent about 2 days over there this past week dipping the creek trying to get it cleaned out. And this little flash flood we had just destroyed everything on up in the holler and down there. It washed the head walls out before they ever got it finished.
I think we need to get a meeting very quickly with the county attorney over there, my counterpart over there, and the powers that be, and talk about this.
I think that's a good idea.
And Judge, I just have one other thing. We had a member that attended the court meeting quite a bit, and he was on Doug's 911 board, and also the veterans. He'd been here, and he talked to you one time about, I think you bought a bugle for him over there at Phelps. He passed away this past weekend, Jack Woodford. And I just thought maybe, you know, Doug would probably need to maybe say something about that.
Yeah, we lost a community leader over there, and one that dedicated to what he believed in, and it'd be a loss for that community.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have.
Magistrate Harris.
I too want to extend my condolences to that family. Jack was not only a good member of the community, but he was a personal friend of mine, and I'm very sorry that he passed away. The first thing I want to talk about is what a success the Hatfield-McCoy Marathon was. We just finished it this year. It's still growing. Had well over 1,000. I thought they said over 1,200 runners in it this year, from 44 different states and several foreign countries. And the thing just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I did last year. My whole family, we did the half marathon last year. We weren't in quite that shape to do it this year.
Mr. Harris, Jeannie and Bobby and Charles and I had the opportunity to be at Matewan after that marathon, and they was ecstatic over the success of the marathon and how it growed, and how they had all those visitors coming in to the Hatfield-McCoy area.
It fills hotels from Logan, West Virginia, through Pikeville, Prestonsburg, Paintsville. I mean, they're staying everywhere, and these people that come to spend money, and it's a great tourism draw for the county, and it paints us in a really positive light, and I'm just real thankful for those that play a huge role in the Tug Valley Roadrunners Club and that group that plays such a big role in putting that on and putting it together every year. It's a monumental task. We went down and volunteered a little bit on the night before the marathon at the spaghetti dinner they had at the school, and just to watch those people come through and what a great time they're having. I mean, it's really a great thing for our county and our area. The other thing is the new driver's license office at the Belfry Courthouse is almost complete. I think, Paul, we're waiting on the IT folks from Frankfurt to come in and wire the office so that they can be connected via internet with Frankfurt for their computer systems. Is that?
Yes, they're supposed to be here one day this week to wire it, and then we should be able to turn it over to them.
Okay, great. Well, the room looks fantastic, and it'll be much easier on people. Nice waiting area, and have everything out front there, and I think it'll be a real addition to the courthouse, and be a real service to the people that use it. And it does get used quite a bit. Last thing I wanted to mention, Judge, you know, Pike County has a tremendous history and tradition of offering our young men and women for military service. And this past week, might have been 2 weeks ago, in the newspaper, there was a great article about Corporal Richard Isabel from Feds Creek, Kentucky. And he was a 19-year-old that went to serve in the Korean War and was captured, and he died in a Chinese prison camp. And his remains were, it was not identified, his remains were taken to Hawaii and put into an unmarked grave there, an unidentified grave. And they were just recently able to identify his remains, and they brought him back to his family here in Pike County. And you know, we name roads after people all the time in Pike County, and offer resolutions in support. And Magistrate Murphy and I talked about this earlier today. I think it would really be fitting for this court to do something in honor of this man who gave his life for his country and has finally been brought back home. And I think at least a resolution from the court to his family, extending our thanks and our appreciation for the commitment and the sacrifice that he made.
Magistrate Murphy, you know the family up there in the area they live in. You need to let us know exactly where they live. I think he lived up there, but I think they buried him in Johnson County. But I agree with Magistrate Harris. It'd be nice that we could put something on the
Yeah, I agree with him 100%, but I'd been reading about it, but I really didn't know he's from Feds Creek until Magistrate Harris was telling me, and I agree 100%. We do a lot of things, but it don't make a difference where they're from, but somebody like that, we need to do something for them.
Check on it, and we'll get something put on the road up there.
Okay, it would be nice, yeah, if we do at least a resolution from the court honoring his passing, And if, we'll try to find a little more information about it, and so we can provide that to your office, Judge, so you can prepare the resolution. And if something does come available, if a new bridge is built or something in that area becomes available, then I'm sure, I won't be on the court, but I'm sure Magistrate Murphy will be able to look at that at the time and
And it's good that we can do that. I know the Barney boy over there below the Hatfield Funeral Home,
yes,
that bridge.
Roland Varney's son,
We
Ronald
went over
Varney.
there to that, and come to find out, he had graduated from Belfry High School and graduated with the sheriff and so forth, and then went in, volunteered, went into service, and then he gave all. And I'll agree, if you'll do that, we'll give it back to Jeannie, and we'll come back to court and get a resolution passed and authorize Hatcher to put something on the road up there and notify the family. Magistrate Harris.
That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
Madam Treasurer.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy, second Magistrate Johnson. Madam Clerk, have a roll call.
Magistrate Anderson. Sorry. Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dotson. Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruth.
Yes.
Authorize the payment of the expenditure approval list dated June 20th, 2014, and any other utility and telephone bills received before the checks are run, plus any other bills that may be presented at the court meeting for payment. And as of Friday, we received the ambulance grant from the EMS Kentucky College and Technical School. Appalachian First Response will be receiving $1,865.45. City of Pikeville, $1,865.44. TransStar, $1,865.45. But there's a couple of these that has not gotten all their documentation in, so upon proper documentation, they will receive their funding.
Have a motion. Got a motion by Magistrate Johnson, have a second Magistrate Robinson. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the previously approved transfers and interfund transfers. There were not any for April 1st, receipt of April 15th, May 6th, and May 22nd, pass over June 3rd to the next court meeting.
To have a motion. Motion, Magistrate Robinson, have a second. Have a second, have a roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dotson. Yes. Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
A little warmer there, bud.
Acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's April 2014 and May 2014 financial statements.
Need a motion.
Motion acknowledge.
Have a motion, have a second. Magistrate Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson. Yes. Magistrate Dotson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris. Judge Rutherford.
Madam Treasurer.
Assistant County Attorney, would you have an emergency budget amendment ordinance number 4 for the fiscal year 2013-14 for the close of the fiscal year and requirements for the publishing and adopting are not able to be met as the emergency for this amendment, please?
Thank you. KRS 67.078, part paren 2, close paren, states that a majority of the fiscal court may declare an emergency to exist by naming and describing the emergency, and thereafter may adopt a county ordinance to address that emergency without regard to the requirements of KRS 67.077. And of course, KRS 67.077 is the requirement that a proposed ordinance receive 2 readings and the required publications. We have an emergency budget amendment ordinance number 4 for the fiscal year 2013-2014 for the close of the fiscal year. the emergency is that the requirements for publishing and adopting are not able to be met due to time constraints. This is the first and second reading of the emergency budget amendment ordinance relating to the fiscal year 2013-2014 annual budget and amendment thereof. Whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court has realized unbudgeted receipts from the following funds, be it ordained by the Pike County Fiscal Court of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, the budget for fiscal year 2013-2014 is amended to increase/decrease the receipts of the various funds by $327,704.38. Receipts are amended in that amount. Total amended revenues, $327,704.38, and total amended appropriation in the same amount of $327,704.38. This is, as has been explained, an emergency budget amendment ordinance. The ordinance has to describe the emergency, and that is the inability to, due to time constraints, to publish and adopt. And this ordinance can be adopted with motion, second, majority vote.
To have a motion, have a second. Mr. Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson? Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? Judge Rutherford?
Authorize that $275 be written from the solid waste account to consolidated account to correct a check for rent at the Majestic Post Office being deposited in the solid waste account in error.
Have a motion. Mr. Dodson, have a second. Second. Mr. Anderson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Authorize registration and lodging for those who wish to attend the 28th Annual KCJEA-KMCA Joint Summer Convention, July 9th through the 11th, 2014, at the Marriott Louisville, downtown Louisville, Kentucky.
Have a motion. Motion, Mr. Robinson, have a second. Have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize the cost of living adjustment for the county attorney's salary retroactive to January 1, 2014 for the allowable county compensation.
Motion, Mr. Anderson, have a second. Have a second, Mr. Harris, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
The renewals for the Kentucky Association of Counties All-Line Fund Insurance is in the third year of a three-year contract. Just for the court's knowledge, the premium for the fiscal year 2014-2015 is actually going to be $990,390 from where we have taken the trucks off and added the new trucks back on. And the Kentucky Association of Counties Workers' Compensation Fund premium for the fiscal year 2014-2015 is $1,271,406. We need the authorization for the judge to sign the application for membership agreement for the Workers' Compensation Fund.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion, have a second. Second, Mr. Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize the following checks in the amounts of: to Walker Appraisals, pass through NRCS funds for technical review of appraisals for Charlie Dingus, $400, Jacqueline Goff, $400, Roe Donald Boyd, $400, William Ireson, $400, for a total of $1,600. Pass through to the Big Creek Fire Department, LGDF funds, House Bill number 265, project ID number B650, $2,785. Pike County Hope, pass through LGDF funds when received, House Bill number 265, project ID number B685, $50,000.
Have a motion, have a second?
I have a question. Is this, what Hope group is this?
Pikeville Hope.
Is this the one in, okay.
Yeah, it's Pikeville Hope.
We have a motion, we have a second.
think
Have a
it's not-
second, Magistrate Robinson, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruthford.
Yes.
Additional treasurer's business is the placing of the delinquent solid waste on the 2014 tax bills. Would the Assistant County Attorney help me with this, please?
Yes, we need an order authorizing the placement of the delinquent solid waste bills on the 2014 tax bills pursuant to KRS 109310. That'll require a motion, a second, a majority vote, something we do every year.
It just sort of pushed back in the time. Usually we do it in December, and so we need to get it done because it has to be done 60 days prior to the mailing of the tax tickets.
Do we
That's
have a
correct.
motion? Motion, Magistrate Robinson, have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Murphy. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Magistrate Dodson. Magistrate Harris.
Yes.
Judge Ruthford.
One other thing, Judge, and I meant to bring the paper down. I can get it after the executive session. The sale of the trucks at the auction went really well. The dump trucks made us money to help offset where the solid waste transfer trucks did not do as well. What we ended up, the net effect of the profit versus the loss was about $5,200 per truck for about $45,000 loss on all 8 trucks.
But still a good deal.
Yes.
Great deal, great. Now, we need executive session in regard to,
Judge, before we
go right ahead.
do that, if I may, Magistrate Dodson has raised a question, and since Terry Rogers is in the room, maybe it'd be a good time, with your permission, to ask about the situation, Terry, with Perfection Group and their progress on correcting the smell and the powder or dust emanating from the system in the Phelps Courthouse that's causing so much problem. It's been a problem for a long period of time. And I know, Magistrate Dawson and I were discussing, the last time we talked about this, it was going to take them about 3 weeks to get in there and get that corrected. Could you enlighten us as to where we are on that for Magistrate Dodson's information?
If you're going to answer, you're on Pike TV.
You're on
You have
Pike
to come
TV,
to a
buddy.
microphone.
Let's go right up there at the podium there, Terry.
He wouldn't know anything about it.
I've called twice this morning already to Perfection to get an update on that, and they've yet called me back. So I'm waiting on a call from them.
I don't believe they're gonna do nothing self-tare. You know, we've got 3 facilities, I understand, that's under the same condition. And, you know, it's not safe. Our public works people's looked at it and they know, and the company knows. And they told you 3 weeks, and it's been 3 weeks.
To give them 3 to 4 weeks.
I'm ready to go.
But here's the thing now, they have it. They had a guy come over last week. He was here, and he went over to make sure they had the proper equipment.
Come over and measure the ductwork. You know, they supposed to replace the coils.
That's what he's there looking at. The guy come down and looked at it to make sure that they had the right equipment to change it out with before they come and you know, and messed it up and not have it. So apparently they have everything in place to come and do it. It's just getting I suggest they come on Friday night and do it on the weekend so it don't mess with the county business over there.
I tell you, I'm still the same person I was 3 weeks ago. They told you and the county attorney to give them 3 weeks, and it's been 3 weeks, and they still not doing anything. And, you know, I'm ready to go ahead if the judge is willing to do it and file suit against them and the company that made them. I think it was it Train?
Right.
And, you know, if you don't do anything, we're just still going to be put off and put off and put off. And you know, it's up to the judge, but I recommend that we do something for these people that have to smell this. We got senior citizens involved. I think you got the Belfry Courthouse involved and the Phelps Courthouse. And they said they had the dog pound fixed, or it don't affect the dogs, but it affects the people.
Mr. County Attorney, would you email the parties and advise them if action is not taken that the court is considering to follow suit?
Judge, I'd be happy to do that. I think that's probably what we told them the last time, and they informed us 3 weeks. Terry's telling me it's 3 to 4. My memory was 3, but I wouldn't dispute my good friend Terry for anything. But I think if it's agreeable with you and the court, if maybe a telephone call from me and ask for a specific date, and if they can't give us one, then I'll proceed however this court wants me to proceed.
Need a motion to for the county attorney to notify them and get a date for an answer, and if the answer is not forthcoming, follow suit.
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Second? Have a second? Manager Johnson, have a roll call vote, please. Have a motion from Manager Robinson, second from Manager Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Anderson. Master Johnson is not here yet. Master Murphy? Here. Master Robinson? Here. Master Dotson? Not here yet. Master Harris?
Here.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes, we are now in open session, and Judge Pruitt, personnel.
We had a position as a loader solid waste area number 1 at Johns Creek, 2H rate of pay at $10.64 per hour. 3 employees bid on the job: Justin S. McCoy, Kevin Maggard, and Tommy Conley. The recommendation is that Kevin Maggard be hired as a qualified employee. Ask approval to hire Ronnie D. Dotson as a temporary seasonal weed mower for the Public Works Department at a 2H rate of pay. Effective June 9, 2014, he's replacing Kevin Maggard, who transferred to solid waste. We wish to acknowledge the resignation of Jerry Nichols. As of June 30, 2014, Jerry is a solid waste transfer driver and has worked for the Pike County Fiscal Court since September 9th, 1987. It's my understanding that he is retired after a distinguished career with the county. Recommend the termination of Tommy R. Conley, effective as June 23rd, 2014. Ask approval to hire Vivian Fields as special employee for Dorton Park at 0A rate of pay, effective June 1, 2014. She will work as long as the seasonal weed mowers work. That's the recommendation of personnel.
I'll take the recommendation. That's my recommendation and my motion. Have a second. Have a second. Manager Robinson, have a roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson? Yes. Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dotson?
Yes.
Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Again, I want to thank the commissioners and directors. Just to see if you all have any questions you need to ask us. I want to thank you all. We're in this budget year with a balanced budget. We could not done that if it hadn't been for you all. You've understood what our situation is and the downturn and coal severance tax that's put us in this situation. We've been able to serve the county. We've been able to pick up the garbage of about 23,000 and some people in the county. Been able to maintain our roads and yet to end the year with a balanced budget and projecting a new budget for next year, which is a balanced budget. So you all are part of this, and I appreciate your all's understanding and working with the fiscal court and keeping our budget in balance, regardless of what you read or heard. Under Kentucky law, I'm going to repeat again, every city, every county in Kentucky has to end the year with a balanced budget. If you don't, we wouldn't be in office. and I've submitted, Bobby, more than 20 budgets, and I'm been in office all these years. So what you read in the paper is strictly untrue about this county having a unbalanced budget and in a shortfall. Having said that, a motion to adjourn. Got a motion, Magistrate Robinson, have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson, Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Harris, Judge Rutherford. Judge, you'll be in.